And in a bid to boost America's chip manufacturing sector, US Vice President Kamala Harris met the heads of Japanese semiconductor firms today. The meeting comes just a month after President Biden signed the Industrial Policy Bill into law, which aims to boost America's domestic production of chips that are badly needed by a wide array of industries. During the meeting in Tokyo, the US Vice President spoke about incentives available for investors in the American semiconductor manufacturing industry. Kamala Harris mentioned Japan's role in building resilient supply chains and promoted the benefits of moving manufacturing hubs away from a low-cost country like China to prevent disruptions.
We see Japan is playing a very important, critical role in our ability to do this work and to address the challenges that we face. Japan and the United States share a commitment to work on resilient supply chains and to invest in forward-looking innovation. On the supply chain issue specifically, in the early days of the pandemic, we recognized how we did not have a strong enough and resilient enough system to supply our basic needs.
The White House says executives from at least 13 companies attended the meeting. Harris was in Tokyo to attend the state funeral of assassinated former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. She will now go to the demilitarized zone that separates North and South Korea during a trip on Thursday that will take her to Seoul. Harris's meeting with the Japanese business heads is an effort to alleviate the persistent chips shortage that has affected the sales of everything from cars to weapons to washing machines. The shortages have contributed to worsening inflation in the United States. The new American law, known as the CHIPS Act, provides over $50 billion in subsidies for the industry and is viewed as an effort to compete with China's growing sway over the global economy. For more on the Vice President's trip to Asia, I'm joined now by Susan Tehrani, WION's US correspondent. She is live for us today in New York. Susan, good to see you. Kamala Harris went to Japan, of course, primarily to pay her respects to the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, but found the time to prod Japanese business executives about the semiconductor shortage. What can we glean from the fact that she chose to prioritize that on her trip?
It's very important, as you mentioned, Simon, notably back home because of high inflation, 8% last month, highest in 40 years right now. From a domestic standpoint, the semiconductor chips have really played a vital role in the U.S. economy. On the other hand, the United States really came to realize, relying on China and the supply chain crisis when it came to chip manufacturing, has really affected everything, as you mentioned, not only from electronics after the pandemic to other issues, the automobile industry as well, and high prices as well. So it's not only Kamala Harris in Japan. If we recall, even Nancy Pelosi,
Can I do another question
made
with
that
her?
so-called landmark visit to Taiwan. She also had managed the time to actually meet with trade executives from the semiconductor and chip industry as well. So you see that with every stop and every trip that U.S. officials and lawmakers take to Asia, there is a semiconductor chip meeting aspect to it. And so it's no surprise that Kamala Harris also went along with this. Also, as you mentioned, the CHIPS and Science Act, which provides $52.7 billion in subsidies and incentives for companies. This is expected to be very, perhaps, attractive for companies outside of the U.S. At least that's what the Biden administration hopes. Just anything to move away from the reliance of chips from China and bring down inflation at any cost, especially as we head into the midterms and then 2024 for the Democrats.
Absolutely. Susan Tehrani, WION's correspondent in New York. Thanks very much for that today. We'll see you again soon.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.